Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but underneath are ravenous wolves. By their fruits you will know them. Do people pick grapes with the thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Just so, every good tree bears good fruit, and a rotten tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a rotten tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. So by their fruits you will know them." The Gospel of the Lord.
I'd just like to go back and dig into the book of Genesis a little bit for a couple of little peculiarities about this passage that can be quite inspirational. First of all, Abraham and God are discussing the fact that he has no heir. And if you're attentive and you're following this, it's followed by, at sunset, Abraham goes to create an altar and offer a sacrifice to the Lord. And so what you have here is this revelation of, I'm going to make your descendants as populous as the stars in the sky, is very interesting, because God is asking Abraham to look up into the sky during the day when you can't see the stars. And he's saying, "You see the stars?" And Abraham's probably looking up and saying, "Really? Do you trust me that there are stars there?" "Yes." "All right. Then do you trust me that I can give you descendants as rich as those stars?" Now he's made a step of faith, because he allows his trust in God to defy what his senses perceive. There's a line like that by St. Thomas Aquinas about the Eucharist, by the way. It's very similar, right? What our senses fail to fathom, right, our faith perceives. Now, then you get to this place. This is very peculiar. You get to this place where Abraham's asked to make a sacrifice to God, because God, now that he's told him that he's going to have all these descendants, he wants to seal this covenant in a ritual, namely a ritual sacrifice. And so Abraham's instructed to cut these animals in half and put them to each side of the altar. And then what happens is a flaming torch passes between them. This comes from an ancient tradition coming from Abraham's time, where when you made a covenant with someone, you would cut the animals in half and you would walk between them. And the walking between them was like saying, "May what happened to these animals happen to me if I don't hold my part of the covenant." Now what's interesting is Abraham doesn't walk between the halved animals. Only the torch does, which is symbolic of the Lord God. In other words, in this covenant, Abraham is being told that God is going to accept the full responsibility of the covenant, even Abraham's part. So this becomes a foreshadow of God offering his life to fulfill the covenant. Are you following me? Yes. So here is God now saying to Abraham, "May death come upon me if I don't fulfill this covenant," which he did in Jesus. Jesus completely fulfills that covenant. The people of Israel could never do it, but God did. And so what you see in these two little peculiarities of the gospel, or of the book of Genesis, you see God's generosity and his sacrificial love being poured out for those whom he loves. And this is who our God is. He fulfills, not only does he fulfill all our needs, he says to Abraham, I will be your shield. I'm going to cover you from all this stuff. I'm going to protect you. And he does this. And he does it even at the cost of his own life. That's who your God is.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquae meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrectio